I really do cover the sacred spaces of the BGC, because these are what happens in these spaces does not happen anywhere else I've ever personally been.
Pretty amazing space you created. Y'all created. It's great.
Sure, but feel free to just speak whatever's coming up for you, whatever's in your spirit and on your heart.
So the first one says, how did I allow? There's some anger. Marisol said, how did I show up? So. You knew what you knew, and you didn't what you didn't. You loved me with the best of what your scars had left. Ooh, that was a good one. Michelle said, time for me to parent myself. Yeah, that happened. And so did that. And so did that. Shit. I'm in control of this story. Because who's in control of this story? Steph is in control of that story.
Y'all all in control.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
in control.
Yes, we all in control of our stories. Absolutely. Less and less shame. And I gotta give snaps to that one. Less and less shame. Loved me with the best of what your scars had left. Say no when it's not right. I'm teaching myself, yes. Plenty of thank yous. Marissa said thank you, Steph. Into the moment with awakened self. I'm teaching myself, yes.
You do what you need to make peace. Unconditional meets conditions, right? Like, what? Know that one. Hot and cold, followed by the silent treatment.
Be liberated, trace and explore your connections as near as parental and as far back as ancestral. I did want to say, like, I think that these questions, especially like a question like this that when we did it last week was very triggering for me personally. It has the most resonated impact when you're a month, 2 months, down the line, where something comes up and maybe, because love isn't like, I think it was Amy who said there is no formula, you leave one thing, you go into another, and it's never exactly quite what you thought it was going to be, or maybe it is. But I saw that to say, like, I'm finding that these questions, as simple as they are helping to be a continued source of self-reflection, and revisiting them down, like, even every other day, like, how does this like, and then I'm starting to realize, oh, well, there's the source of that. There's the root cause of that. And maybe if you did this, and it's interesting. I'm finding, and I guess because it's so discomforting, it's very discomforting. But I mean, it exists in yourself, right? It exists in me. So I have to be able to confront it. And if I can't do it with a pen and paper, how will I do it, on a deeper cerebral or level? So thank you.
Want to know more about what really are the deep roots, like you said, that I'm uncovering. What are the roots that are being dug up, and why are they so triggering me? Why did they rub me these wrong ways? Why do I feel so drained after talking about something that happened 20 years ago? Like, what is it about these events within my body, within my spirit, within my mind that tend to replay over and over and keep me in these cycles of self-doubt and self-hatred and self-destruction, through so many different forms of bad habits that I picked up through family?
I have chill bumps everywhere. For y'all that don't know, I get the step bumps when spirit's like, yeah, that. I'm like, yeah, okay, that. How many of y'all can like attest to some version of that one?
Yeah, I do think this is an awesome space, but I also want to let you know, like, so I'll use me as an example. Like when I first started, they used to have these topics, and I used to be like, all right, Steph, all right, I remember you guys are pulling, y'all pushing. Because I was very private, and I was very surface with my poetry. And they'll ask these questions, and I used to be like, I don't have nothing to write. I don't know, like, because I would just meet these ladies, like I was like, I don't, right? So what I will say, I am more than appreciative of the space because it got me talking more. It got me, and what I'm learning in it is the more you talk about things, that creates a type of self-healing, because now you're saying it out loud, and you'll be surprised how many people in the room have similar situations or just can relate. And I said that to say is that, like she said, everyone healing is different, and we are in here, we're still growing, like nothing's set in stone. There's no such thing as like, feeling just sorry or bad about your what you're going through, because at some point we all go through something, but we go through different things. So your story is your story, and you be unapologetic about it, because who knows, like whatever healing space you in, it may lead you to yourself. So what I will say is that this particular space had led me to her. And when I say her, that's me.
You have to know that this is what you want. You have to know that there's no one like you. And you have to know that you are always the top priority.
Think and how you process thoughts and what's driving you and what's pushing you. And the number one thing you can rely on is others. You can tell you anything they want to tell you all day long. But the bottom line, you got to feel it in your heart, your mind, and your soul and push forward just on that. It's all, and I'm not selfish, trust me, but truly, it's about self.
We are all getting naked in front of you guys. Like, literally, like, if they tell you when I first came, I was like, I'm not writing about that. But now I'm just like, fuck it, let's go with it.
Like she said, reclaim your energy, reclaim the things that belong to you.
So this is part 3, as Naya mentioned earlier. And it focuses on familial kinship, specifically where our ideas of love come from. Who raised us, parents, guardians, neighbors, peers, religion, spiritual beliefs, media, TV, music, magazines, all of those things that kind of weave the thread that we associate with expressing love.
Be open to whatever comes up on the topic, and be honest and truthful with whatever that feeling, emotion is, whatever comes up in terms of thoughts and processes of your own mind. Don't deny yourself healing because you don't understand it or it doesn't feel right. Just really go through with us tonight.
Okay, so we're gonna open it up with our like traditional strand piece. A BGC or Black Gyrl Collective strand piece is what happens like behind the scenes. We meet every week together on Wednesdays outside of our collective sort of love offering to the community, and that's when we like have our rites of passage through this stuff. When we're asking the deep questions with integrity and answering them with our most authentic self. So sometimes it's scary. And the way that we do it is the same way that we're going to ask you to do it in the space later. And that's without thinking, 5 minutes. We ask the questions, you just go with it. No editing, no like second guessing. You just let whatever comes out come out. Sometimes that's one line, like literally. And that happened last week for one of us. And then sometimes it's, a lot of things you have to say. But what we do is then strand our collective journeys through whatever the question was together. And then we bring it to you and open it up. So this is our strand piece around familial and kinship love.
I've been carrying this for years.
Unhealthy, transactional.
I keep picturing a version of
I've been carrying this for years.
A vacuum of actions believed to prove love, but do not mean love.
doting hugs. I love yous after a job well done.
I love you. I've been carrying these things for years.
Growing up, my mother and grandmother weaponized love,
After helping, helping.
I've been carrying these things for years.
used it as a tool for power and control.
Do what I'm asked, follow the rules.
I've been carrying this for years.
The chronic angers were encoded in the love.
Now be careful not to draw too much attention. Girl, can you be quiet walking up and down the stairs?
I've been carrying this for years.
Eggshells would have been steel compared to the shattered, sharp fragments.
Make others smile. This is called being kind.
I've been carrying this for years.
From which their armor of ego was conceived.
It meant reverberations from my voice box were a disturbance to the space.
I've been carrying this for years.
So healthy patterns were learned, not taught.
Say yes, even when really it's known. That's what she did. That's why they love her, respect her. She cares so much for others.
I've been carrying this for years.
I had to identify how I commodified love.
Be quiet, be sweet, be smart, be comfortable for others, be good. Lend your last. Be grateful for scraps.
I've been carrying this for years.
Tit for tatness that would hurt me in the process.
Fuel tankless. Bags sit beneath my eyes. I've done a good job, right?
I've been carrying this for years.
Of teaching someone some shitty, meaningless lesson handcrafted by foolish pride.
Sacrifice the whole.
I've been carrying this for years.
Fix, fix, fix others.
I've been carrying this for years.
Absorb their pain.
I've been carrying this for years.
I am useful, so I am lovable and worthy.
I've been carrying this for years.
Thinking about unhealed roots, healthy and or unhealthy patterns that you've learned through your familial kinship. Tonight, we continued our exploration of love as it relates to those familial and kinship relationships. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to respond, reject, question, embrace, or some combination of these things that come up when you think about the question based on what you've learned about love through family and or kinship. Just thinking about that. Tap into the question, let it flow. Don't edit, don't think, feel your way through it, and just release what comes naturally to you.
Love, love, love. She cared for us all, kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, cared for every need of the young and old. No apron strings ever severed. When I'm gone, young lady, you must take over.
Mm.
Cook, clean, serve, even when exhausted, everyone before self, absorbing everyone's pain and grief, pouring life while hers was simultaneously being depleted and never aware, never taking the time to be aware till it was too late. Now I'm left to take over, but what if I don't want to? Well, at least not in the same way.
Love is forgiving.
respecting me, listening to me, not following, forgetting the past. It's patient and talking for hours. Love is trying to understand. Love is God or the Bible. Love is distant. Love is feel me. Love is I'm your mother or my mother can do no wrong. Love is apologizing and you know what you got. You know that I'm crazy. Love is fractured, sticking together. It's the three of us. Love is our journey, time spent. I know you. Love is making music, singing songs. Love is sharing hopes and dreams. Love is saying goodbye. Love is you know I love you. I just don't like you. Love is not talking for years. This is just who I am. Love is giving, making me soup when I'm sick, letting me stay in from school when I seem sad. Love is hug. Love is hug me, damn it. Love is watching you cry, doing it here. Love is your secrets are safe with me.
Love comes with conditions. Prices paid to bear the pain and abusive words and accusations from the ones that claim that love is forever, with deep forgiveness, with when in actuality filled with poison, bite back to the words spewed out of their venomous mouths towards me. So unforgiving. I've learned that I'm better to be seen, not heard. My words devalued amongst the pressures to stay quiet. Why can't I be me? I learned that nobody wants to love the crazy drama-filled life that I have to live, but instead, everyone else around me.
Go ahead. One of our newest members to BGC.
Love is hot and cold, hugs and kisses, followed by the silent treatment. Unconditional meets condition. I'm confused. How do I get someone to love me as if love is a game of persuasion? To love is to serve. You do what you need to do to make peace. Love can be so violent and love can feel so lonely, but love will make you loyal. I choose a different love that I'm still not so sure of, not sure how it feels or what it looks like. It's a love synonymous with safety, love that sounds like inner peace.
Amy also put that followed by the silent treatment. That hit me too. Love that sounds like inner peace.
Love is based on appearance. Smile, make the family proud, or at least don't embarrass us. Love is based on don't make things harder. Love is based on being able to hold your own at the grown-up table. Love is based on how could I know what I did to make you go away? Confusion, unpredictability. Love is based on things outside of my control, a formula I haven't memorized. Love is based on fitting in, blending in.
Well, I don't know what I did to make you go away. That fitting in, blending in, a formula I haven't yet memorized.
I spent my life fixated on trying to define what is love, looking for this fairy tale type love that I only knew to exist was in movies. And even though none of that shit was close to me, that was still what I envisioned my life to be. See, I envisioned the Cosbys, but I didn't know a Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable. I only knew a Reg and Bonnie. And my mommy and daddy gave me more of a hood love story than that Cosby story. And if I had to be honest, that shit was toxic. It wasn't your average love story because by the time I was 5, my father was incarcerated. And although this sounds unrelated to family love, I'm pointing to where it began and why and when it comes to love, I'm so fucked up. See, if it's too good, I flee. And if it's too bad, I want to be free.
There's some confusion, tension there for me, especially as I come to the end of my marriage. Like, how did this happen? How did I allow? Why did I show up so there's some anger, there's some residual resentment, but there's less and less shame. And to them who raised me, no blame. I love you. I appreciate you. You knew what you knew and didn't what you didn't. You did what you could. You loved me with the best of what your scars had left. Thank you. Frankly, it's time for me to parent myself. Anyhow, yeah, that happened. And so did that. And so did that shit. But I'm in control of this story, as I always have been. I can own that now. And I'm going to say no when it's not right from now on. Love for my center. Enter my moments with an awakened self. Open eyes, radically. I'm unlearning and I'm teaching myself. That last part hit is what Michelle said. Yeah, right. What if I don't want to? At least not the same way. Whew. Love is fractured. And then this is just who I am. This is the part where we're just chatting about the experience and kind of what just happened. Like what's coming up for me is two things. Like when you said, how can I write it down, or if I can't write it down. I mean, we all do this sort of thing in different ways, not writing for everyone, but for me, it's a mirror, you know. And I was listening to this podcast earlier. I think it was Jay Shetty, I believe. I might be screwing up his name. And I think he was interviewing Alicia Keys, maybe, or maybe it was Janae Aiko. I can't remember, but talking about that mirror. And for some of us, it is through the writing and seeing ourselves there. And there's this whole thing that occurs. And then the other thing that I was thinking about that always comes up when I go to this place or when I'm trying to work with these unhealed roots is a sense of betrayal. I mean, both of my parents have passed, and with them not being here to like talk it through with me in the like earth form or whatever, because I'd be talking to them, like we'd be having conversations, but there's a part of me that is like, I don't want to betray you. Like, of course, there was so much that is me, that is healthy me, and there is so much that is unhealthy me from what I learned from y'all. And just sort of navigating that space of being like, it isn't a betrayal to say, yeah, this part was kind of fucked up. You know, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know, or whatever, but it was fucked up, and that's not a betrayal. And so I think that's where I get triggered, because I mean, they're not here, and I miss them all the time, you know. And so I'm like, how can I say some shit? Because it's true, and that's okay.
You guys give me the space to be brave within myself to figure these things out for myself. A lot of times I've run away from this understanding because it's like, as you said, like it kind of just hits you like in a shockwave. Like it comes one after the other, because these realizations, they're embedded with us. They're obviously, just as much as we have been able to collect the things that we don't want, we can change that chemistry to collect the things we do want. So now, knowing that information now and being in a space where I'm an adult fully and I'm taking care of my own responsibilities and I'm walking in my own path, I've learned to be brave and step into the things I don't want to talk about, because a lot of the times I've run away from it and it's only hurt me more to run. So, you know, I appreciate women who are brave enough to step up to the plate at no matter what age. If you're 5, 10, 20, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, you could be 78, you know, if someone's willing to step up to the plate and like really be brave and have their voice fully spoken, I think that for me is what encourages me to want to know more about what really are the deep roots, like you said, that I'm uncovering. What are the roots that are being dug up, and why are they so triggering me? Why do they rub me these wrong ways? Why do I feel so drained after talking about something that happened 20 years ago? You know, like, what is it about these events within my body, within my spirit, within my mind that tend to replay over and over and keep me in these cycles of self-doubt and self-hatred and self-destruction through so many different forms of bad habits that I picked up through family, through family. Like Miss Tracy had said in her beautiful poem, she's like, just having a life force drained from you for years, picking up everyone else's burden and not realizing it until it's too late. So like, you turn around and you have all these things that you've carried with you that you've picked up from your family members, from your friends, from all the people that you've loved, or you've said that your heart told you you loved, and you take all those things in and you hold them for the people because you're thinking, well, if I can hold this for you and tell you, it will just show you that I love you. If I could do this for you, well, like that's where my first line came from. Like, with conditions, there's always a price to pay with the love that I have received, especially from my family. It's conditional. So I've learned to not be as conditional with myself, because there is not one way to do something, and there's definitely not one way to heal. So I'm learning to break that idea of conditioning myself to think or be one way, and just learning to be myself. There's not one way to heal. There's not one way to just go down the road of healing. So I had to really learn to take the conditions away from myself, and learn to not to think of it as being every other way, and learn to just be myself. Like, I've really had to learn to just be myself in my adult years, because I've picked up so much from all these other people's ideas of love, or what I thought was love. And, I've followed that for so long, and it doesn't fit with my idea of love for myself anymore. So I'm learning to become the person that I love. And it's a lot. It's a lot of unbreaking, it's a lot of unrooting, and it's just learning to not put conditions on myself for how that has to happen.
Amy just dropped in the chat, your comment about being in our bodies is so powerful. I agree. And I mean, if it's not weird, can you just tell the folks how old you are? And the only reason I bring it up is because I'm asking myself these questions, and I'm 40.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I'm 26, guys.
I'm like, damn, right? Right? I'm like, damn. Like, if I knew that, ask myself this 14 years ago, 15, like, come on.
But these are things that I've been asking myself since I probably met you, but more so that these are things that have been ingrained in my spirit and my soul since I was young. Because everything around me has never seemed to be what I wanted, or how I wanted to live my life, or things that fit in the mold of who I was. And I realize that more so now as an adult, because I am on my own and I am taking care of myself, so that you have no choice but to reflect on who you are as a person. Because if you're going to tell you something that no one's going to love you unless you love yourself, then I have to figure out what it is that I love about myself. I have to figure out how to love myself. I have to figure out what is love within myself, because a lot of the times I give this beautiful aura of unconditional love to everyone, but I don't know where that comes from, because it doesn't reflect the same way when I talk to myself or when I think about myself. So I'm learning to kind of pick apart how, just as Ms. Tracy has said, is just like how you go from how you reverse that this unconditional, I'm here for everybody, I'm loving, and I'm just that person to always be there in connection, to now learning to be in connection with myself. And I think it's been harder to try to find the connection with myself, because of the years of turmoil and tragedy and trauma, and just a lot of outside voices, and the outside voices. And which is why when you said about being in my body, physical body, is important to really do acknowledge that, because a lot of the times when I'm stressed out, or I'm like in a flailing state, I tend to float away. I tend to not be in my physical body. So I definitely understand how having conversation with physical beings in this here and now on this earthly plane is definitely powerful. Which is so when I am able to step in these spaces, I give it my all, because I want you guys to know that this is authentic. This is genuinely where I'm at in my life right now. And I want people to feel comfortable to express that that's what they see about the topics that we talk about, because it's important to really get to the things that we talk about. I think that in our sessions with weekly, that I've noticed that when we talk, it's a deeper, in-depth talk, but there's so much more layers to it, which is why I know that when we have these events, I want people to come to the full authentic realization of what they have to say, because everything that was said today was so real about kinship and family love, and we don't necessarily notice it on a regular basis. We don't acknowledge it on a regular basis. We don't come to it and say, well, this is how I feel about love in kinship form, or love in family form, and what is that, how has that affected me? And I personally know that I run from family love all the time, because my love for my family is very twisted. It's very toxic. It's very backbiting. Like I said, it's very like, one moment we're good and like I'm having a great time. They give me so much life. They give me so much energy. And the next moment is just pain and turmoil and like toxicity and all this like bad blood. And there's no reason for the bad blood, but you know, growing up as a Caribbean family, it's just that's technically how they show their love in some ways. Like being in a Caribbean household, that's that backbiting type of conditional love is their way of showing love. So it's kind of like learning to grow up who I am through their version of what love is, and then finding my version of love for myself. And so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now, is just finding my version of love for myself so that I can be happy. Because honestly, and I said this to a lot of people, and I don't know if people understand what I mean when I say it, but I've never seen anything that I want from my life around me before, and before like now. Like I've never seen people do the things that I want to do, go places that I want to go, like explore my life the way I want to explore my life. They've never been on that same ideal level, right? So having to step into my own womanhood and having beautiful women around me who are pushing the views and the visions and the strength within me to know that this is okay to want, it shifts the whole idea of who I am, because now I have a space to show me who I am and to reflect off of who I am, because the BGC space is a reflection of who each and every one person that steps into it. So I've learned that as well. Like we all are a reflection of this space. This space is not anything without the people, and the people are not anything without the space, because the space is just that. It's literally like a fractured, beautiful mirror of just reflections of everyone that has been able to step into the space with us. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
I just wanted to say, it's a choice. I heard you say earlier, like, I have no choice now. We all have the choice, and look around on Earth, like, look at the globe. Most of us choose to stay in the fear and the doubt. So it's a choice, and it's a fucking brave choice. So know that. That's powerful. You do have a choice, and you're making the choice to do the scary, hard work that many of us don't. And it's not a judgment about folks who don't. Like, it's scary, but you're doing it.
I've just been blessed to have people that I can go through the journey with. Even when I'm scared, I feel whole. That's even being able to have the BGC to tell, like, it's not that you guys told me that, but being able to express myself in the space authentically has been able to show me that about myself. You know, being whole within any situation is where you find peace. So I'm learning to find my peace within being whole within myself.
I dropped in the chat a little bit earlier a Google form if you would like to, and we would love it because it goes on the site, and I'll actually share a screen in a second so you see where it ends up. But on Freedom Tour, we actually have like the web archives of all of the past events and submissions people have made. So if you'd like to, here, I'll drop the form in there again. You can just click on it. Kind of put your name and whatever you wrote today, and then it'll find its way onto the site. This one was actually in June of last year, so we're about a year old at a monthly. You should always check that out if you wanted to be a part of it. It really is about building the community of like pathways to healing. Like Naya said, there's no one way, but like we on this journey together. Let's hold each other's hands and get into it. Shoot.
Get into it.
Yeah.
We come to the end of our evening, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate everyone who took the time to show up for us and show out for us. You guys always make our day. Any of the BGC events coming up or anything BGC related on freedomtour.com. You can also join our mailing list on freedomtour.com as well. And through the mailing list, we'll send out invitations for the events as they come.
Thank you. And also feel free to drop your contact info in there, like on Instagram, or if you're a business owner or any of those things, we love to support one another. So if you have businesses or friends have businesses, I know, for instance, Tracy has Trade A Healing. So if you could drop yours in there, sis, that would be awesome, and people can check you out. Or if you know of other healing spaces where you're like, I go to this thing and y'all might be interested, like connect us, because we really, really authentically and with integrity are on this journey, and we are not experts. We are just on the journey with y'all.
I appreciate everyone for their vulnerability and their compassion.
Oh, thank you, Amy. I'm so glad that you were able to come. We be loving on each other on IG all the time, y'all. It's just nice to see you. Feel free to pass this along to anyone else you think that could get anything from this space. That's the whole point. We, just share. Just share. We could all use a piece of healing. So as we did in the beginning, if you're able to, go ahead and put your feet down on the ground, tap into that foundation that has a foundation, and just really ground yourself in the idea that you are supported, you are held.
Steph, I just want to say hi. It's so nice to actually talk to you.
Oh, right. How long has it been? Like, for real?
Like 6 years.
Too damn long.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's so great to see you.
You too. I'm glad that the what do you call it? The divine timing worked out and you could be in the space. Thank you. We did this together. Every time it's like the first time, because like Naya said, it's who's here, and we co-created. So thank you.
I had a question about, you guys said that you meet up weekly. Is that an open thing, or is that just like for certain?
Oh, okay. So the BGC weekly one that we do is like the quote unquote core group. That's like we do this sort of exploration a little bit deeper, and then we also figure out how we want to curate the space for the next community love offering. Are you interested in that space at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's okay, just drop your email in the chat, and then when we meet next week, of course, because it's such a vulnerable space, we always have to like check in with ourselves and like figure it out. But we'll talk with each other, and then send you an invitation to come sort of like just check it out and see if it's a fit for you, and not like this interviewee type thing, but like you come in and you're like, does this fit? And we're like, does this fit? Does this feel good? Does it not? Yeah. And there's no judgment in it. It's just sort of like, and that's kind of how it went for Marisol and Naya, because we had been doing it just the four of us for about a year. And we're like, hey, there are people that have been asking about coming into the weekly space. Let's see what that looks like. So it's not like a hierarchy or anything like that, but it is more of a commitment than the monthly one. It's more like we are committed to this healing journey. We show up and we take it pretty seriously, and with like integrity to ask the deep questions and to really be in it. So yeah.
Because like I've been thinking about, at first it was just like finding spirituality, because like I want to say I lost God a couple of years ago. And when I say God, I just mean like, Jesus and the Bible type thing. And then reinventing what does that look like for me as far as like where to go when I feel lost. And then losing certain people in my life. And then what really hit me was there's different ways to heal. So I've been trying to find myself in different um, healing spaces, and every healing space has their own rules, and just figuring out, like, it's about figuring out what feels right to you and moving on from there, because you could get stuck and, like, because that's the whole reason why I didn't like the whole Bible thing. So I was like, why am I trying to find another one of those? And no offense to anybody who does believe in Jesus Christ. I mean, I believe in all, like, I don't know, like, as long as it's there's no rules, basically. Sorry. But yeah, and I don't know, like, I feel like there needs to be more consistency of just asking those hard questions and doing the work behind that. And if I could help or help and learn, that would be perfect.
So I just appreciate. I want you to know though, it's gonna be some pulling because I was looking at them. They'll tell you I was quiet, like, that's just too deep for me. Like, and then one day I was just like, "Excuse me, for everybody in the room, by now I cuss." I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go for it." And from there, I went for it, and I'm learning things about myself. Like, my trauma is showing up in different ways. So I hope that it's a space that you love because it's at your own pace and it's for you. It's not for us. Like she said, no one's judging. If anything, like we be in there like, like the red table talks, like Willow, like, wow. That literally be us. So I'm gonna say welcome in advance because I feel like it will be a dope space, but that's all I wanted to say. I don't just be you. And I'm telling you, that was really hard because I was so used to masking every day. So this is a place where I can take my mask off, and I still got like words of under that mask that I'm still hiding, but they're coming up and out daily.
Thank you, Lynn. Yeah. I think a version of that is true for all of us. I mean, people don't know that I'm as masked as I am. But shit, yeah, I'm human. So I got like layers, and I'm like, I try, and then I run, and you may not even see it, but I know. So yeah, I think, oh, I just love y'all. This is so dope. I am so grateful for this space and for y'all and for this. And for being able to be triggered and not run, to be able to be irritated and angry and sad and really fucking hurt sometimes and be like, okay, this is where we at with it. Oh, okay. And then say, well, what is this?
And to have the sisterhood behind you. Yeah. It's like, sis, like, it's okay to feel how you feel in this moment, but we still like, yeah. All right, what's next? How are we gonna get out of this?
How we gonna get out? I'm gonna hold pieces of you though. So there's that. Like, once you're in there, you're in there. And thank you for that piece. So Teeny said, Lynn just read me, laughing out loud, but thank you all, and especially all.
There was a piece of what Lynn has said that stuck with me. She's like, whatever space you walk into, you should, whatever healing space you walk into, you should find your own version of your healing.
Look at you, beast mode. Look at you being all goddess. I heard that.
You can watch me try and read my own handwriting. Okay.
Thanks for just loving on each other in this space. I think this is love. This having and holding this kind of
authentic, genuine lights and love in this world.
Y'all show up. Thank you for being so vulnerable and so brave and so transparent, y'all.
Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat.